Hey guys, I was planning on doing a different video today, maybe a tag, maybe a review, but I just feel tired in my soul and most of that is just life, but part of it, like a small bit, comes from BookTube. So instead, I just want to have a chat about things that have been on my mind over the past few months when I've been hyper focused on the Women's Prize. Some of you will have noticed that that was the direction that my channel took. So if you don't want to hear about the experience of that, sorry, you're gonna have a few more videos on it, but you can skip ahead to the very end of this one where I talk about what I'm currently reading. So I still have 2 more reviews of long list of books to go. Some of you thought that the last one was the last. No, folks, that was number 14. There are 16 books on this long list. Okay, long list should be 12 books or fewer, just to stop the bleeding. We don't need this whole other quarter of lists. So anyway, yeah. Still 2 more reviews to go, but I've read all 16 and I feel like I can talk about the experience as a whole now. So there were definite positives. I read some books I really liked. I had practice making all different types of reviews, which is definitely helpful. And mostly I was just reminded that I have the best commenters on BookTube. Sorry to all the other BookTubers watching, but it's true. Like, mine are the best. You guys are amazing. And I was sometimes overwhelmed by the sheer volume of comments on certain videos and didn't ever get around to responding to them individually, and I'm really sorry about that happening. But with my review videos especially, I just have gotten the kind of engagement that I wouldn't have dreamed about when I started this channel. But, and here we get to the giant but, reading and individually reviewing all 16 of the long list of books this year was 100% the wrong decision, and I have been, really unhappy about it for a little while now. And the dumbest thing about it is that I created all the unhappiness myself. Like, I knew some people were excited about me doing this series again, but no one pressured me. If I'd done a few reviews and then come on this channel and been like, actually guys, I'm not enjoying this series too much, I'm gonna nip it in the bud, you would have been totally cool about it. And yet, I didn't stop. So this video is me unpacking some of the reasons why I've been pursuing this project to the bitter end, through the bitter beginning and middle as well. I knew less than halfway through that this was a terrible idea. So I'm partly making this video in case anyone is interested, but it's also a reminder to my future self, because you just know that 2019 Jen is gonna look at whatever long list the prize concocts and have a moment of thinking, maybe. And I hope and pray that she returns to this video and is like, oh, girl, love yourself. That's my neighbor's garage door. Yeah. I had a strong feeling looking at the list in March that it wasn't for me, that I wasn't the target audience, but I let other considerations count for more. So one aspect was that with my career and my personal life both in this weird limbo state, I thought this would probably be the last year I could even contemplate such a time-consuming project. I also convinced myself at so many points in the process that it would make more sense to continue than to quit. So I had a string of 4 or 5 bad reads near the beginning, but then I read what turned out to be my favorite book from the list, and so I sort of tricked myself into thinking, well, maybe you've read all the ones that you're not gonna like, and then you'll have gotten through the bad stuff and not ever gotten to the things you would enjoy. That didn't really turn out to be the case so much. I mean, I read some books that I liked near the end, but I had a bad hit percentage overall. I think I enjoyed like 6 out of the 16 books or something. So when the shortlist was announced, I'd read 11 books, and 2 of the remaining 5 were on the shortlist, and I had already committed to writing a piece on the shortlist for another outlet. And then I thought, am I really gonna fall at the final hurdle? Like, am I gonna stop at 13 books? Which gets to the heart of the issue, I think, which has to do with how I approach work in general. So I can be really laid back in a lot of areas of my life, like more laid back than I should be, to be honest. But, when it comes to school and work, I've always had, this drive and this ambition that frankly it feels like it's eating me alive sometimes. And I look back at my years in college especially, and I can't believe how hard I worked, like to the point of breakdowns and beyond, again and again. And so over the years I think I've created these neural pathways where I associate accomplishment with suffering. And if I'm not stressed, I'm almost uneasy because it feels like I'm not working. And I also have a really difficult time not completing something once I've started. On BookTube, a lot of people talk about how reading should be fun. You know, if you're not enjoying a book, DNF it. Life's too short. And this isn't work for the majority of us. It's a hobby, you know? And I 100% support all of those sentiments. But for me, like, reading and reviewing are my main passions, and they're also things I'm trying to build careers out of. And I know myself, like, I know I can be really lazy about things. Oh wait, hang on. Ugh, I hate when my bangs just like decide to stop working in the middle of me saying something. What was I saying? I was talking about how lazy I can be. Yeah. The only reason I've accomplished anything in my life, basically, is that I know I can push myself through things that aren't fun. And there are so many things I want to accomplish in this field. And I know that the road to accomplishing them is not going to consist of, you know, pure bliss, book after book. But I took that to an extreme with this video series because I was doing plenty of other reading for actual jobs. This was supposed to be my fun reading, these women's prize books. You know, they were supposed to be the things that relaxed me when I came home from work, and mostly they just frustrated and bored me. And I also was stuck in a rut of thinking of prizes as, oh, they're so great because they inspire me to pick up books I wouldn't have chosen for myself. And I'm gonna make a video talking about my relationship to literary prizes since I was a teenager and why prizes have been such a presence on this channel. But for now, I'll just say that yes, of course books can surprise you, but for the most part, I am a much better judge of what I'm gonna appreciate than any official panel of judges. And, you know, naturally, I'm also a better judge of that than my commenters. On my video expressing reservations about the long list, I got a lot of comments from people, you know, encouraging me to pick up books that I wasn't excited about because I couldn't know until I tried. And I said the same thing myself, like a lot of times in that video, and I think it's totally fine for people who have left those kind of comments. But the problem was that I let them influence my decisions too much because there was this other element of this whole video series, and getting to the point now, I don't know if I want to talk about this. Should I? Yeah, okay, yeah, let's just do this. I'm just gonna get it out there, right? So the other element was that I got a wave of negative backlash after that women's prize long list video. And I didn't know if I would talk about it, but I knew that if I was going to, I was going to wait a little while because I didn't want to be defensive while discussing it. Defensiveness is never attractive. This is not to pity myself, like I really have gotten over the minor angst of those weeks. But for context, I've had trolls since I had like 500 subscribers. You know, I've gotten comments about my appearance, my weight, my voice, my politics for a long time. And if a comment seems trolly, I just block the person and I move on with my life. It's nothing new. What was new about this situation was that, you know, for one thing, some of this backlash, or at least a good chunk of it, came from people who are regular commenters on a lot of the channels that I watch. So they're people who are very involved in the community, not just random trolls. And another different aspect was the sheer volume of the anger this time. I got a few iffy to rude comments on my channel, as well as seeing either veiled or overt mentions of me in the comments sections of other people's channels, which was so weird. Like, are we in middle school? But then I also got YouTube messages, Goodreads messages, and some private emails. And again, I'm chill about these shenanigans now, like they were never that big a deal, and even if they had been, I feel very supported by the community. But I'm mentioning these details to give you some context of how I felt from the beginning of the project, because I wasn't comfortable DNFing books that others had loved, but that I knew within 20 pages weren't for me. And honestly, I usually know well before the 20-page mark if something is gonna hook me. But I was so self-conscious about this general negative image of me after that video. And of the fact that I knew people could get offended about my taste not aligning with theirs, and offended in the sense that they would then accuse me of thinking I was better than they were for having different taste. You guys, I was so scared to make my Eleanor Oliphant review. I mean, I have dreaded posting several of these reviews. But the main issue was that if I'd had thicker skin, I would have DNF'd a lot of these books. But instead, you know, I devoted crazy hours to reading every page of them, even when I was hating every page sometimes, because I was so worried about people saying I was unfair for not giving books a chance. You know, so it's all well and good to suck up the fact that not all work is going to be immediately fulfilling, but a lot of this work wasn't fulfilling in the long term either. And I spent way too much time reading book after book that didn't bring me joy. I mean, I ran out of meh faces to make in my thumbnails, which I didn't even think was possible. So I ended up learning, you know, a lot in this process, you know, that I can't let my insecurities about how others are going to perceive me drive my decisions. That, you know, yes, I'm a young woman on the internet, but that doesn't mean that it's my job to be palatable to everyone. And that, you know, it's my responsibility how much I let things affect me. And I also learned that I should trust my instincts because they're not perfect by any means when it comes to choosing books, but they're pretty great. And I've also come to the realization that I'm happiest when I'm interacting with BookTube once or twice a week. You know, this is a wonderful part of my life. But it is a bubble, and I need more of a break from it than I've been allowing myself over the past few months. So anyway, I still have a few more videos in the Women's Prize series. It is like a cockroach, people. But mostly I'm excited to think about all of the video ideas that I've put on the back burner and now can finally start filming. So I hope you guys also enjoy having my channel, you know, shaken up a little bit from its regular routine. And I want to talk to you a little about what my reading has been like since I finished the 16th goddamn book on that list and got to choose my own books. I beam just thinking about it, as you can probably see. So the first one I read after was Almost Love by Louise O'Neill. Loved this. I'm going to talk about it in my May wrap-up. And then I'm currently reading this bad boy. Finally, I'm on page 550. So only 250 more to go. And even if the ending is terrible, which I'm guessing it won't be, this is, without a doubt, the Tawny Man trilogy is my favorite of Robin Hobb's books so far. They mean so much to me. So as I've said many times, but it will actually be true in the near future in this case. I'll be doing a non-spoilery video on 3 of Robin Hobb's trilogies once I finish this book. And I'm also going to get back to writing reviews for Open Letters Review. That has totally fallen by the wayside in all this prize hullabaloo, but it still has great content. So check it out and stay tuned for more written reviews. Yeah, I think that's everything. So, hang on, I scratched my foot. So essentially, I am really proud of the massive effort that went into my reviews. And I'm not knocking my reviews, but I am beyond excited to be doing other things, and, you know, hopefully you'll be able to sense that excitement in my future videos. So let me know your thoughts below, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.